Hello and welcome, friends. Welcome to another review of a vintage piece. This time I have for you a fountain pen made in Germany in the 1930s. And I present to you this beautiful Mars Triumph fountain pen. It is identified by its name, which is quite nice thermically imprinted on the cap. So Mars is the producer and Triumph is the model of the fountain pen. This fountain pen is finished in a beautiful celluloid, and we can see a pattern like a skin of a snake throughout the cap and also into the barrel. I said that the producer is Mars, but in fact I was mistaken. So the producer is J.S. Staedtler, and the sub-brand is Mars, and one of the Mars models is the Triumph model. Staedtler was known back then for its brand Luna, and in fact you can see here thermically imprinted the logo of a moon. So back in the 1930s they had also the sub-brand Luna and the sub-brand Mars, which was the god of war. In time, you will see that the logo Mars was more frequently used than the logo of the Luna, and now the company is known for their pencil products, and mainly they are Staedtler Mars products. Although the brand of Luna survived, the sub-brand of Luna survived till our days, some line of their pencils and other writing instruments are named Luna. Sadly enough, Staedtler, to my knowledge, doesn't produce fountain pens anymore, but it's a good fact that such a old German brand is still in activity. Let's return to our fountain pen, guys. This little beauty, and I know that you are curious to find out what I paid for this. It's quite a large fountain pen, and I bought it for a reasonable price. I bought it for only 250 lays, which means 50.52 euros or 57.01 American dollars. Quite a nice fountain pen. Well, guys, what attracted me to this model, I didn't knew exactly its big dimensions because I usually buy large fountain pens. For me, as long as a vintage fountain pen is a big fountain pen, this is a sign of a luxury product. Again, this is quite nice labeled. We also have an identification on the clips of the fountain pen, and again Mars. But interesting, on the top of it we have the Luna logo and what appears to be a faded crown. You can see with three spots, but the Luna logo is quite defined there. And another interesting thing that I have and I instantly recognized on this product is those abbreviations. So you can say acronyms DRGM and DRP. So DRGM stands for, and pardon my German, guys, Deutsches Reich Gebrauchsmuster. Roughly translates to German Reich Registered Design, and the other one, DRP, Deutsche Reichspatent, or Germany's patent. So when you find on a product DRGM, because this is a quite common imprint found on different products. You can find this imprint on the German-made products between 1891, which were produced in this period of 1891 till 1945, or the beginning of the 1950s. So definitely it wasn't used after the Second World War, because the Reich was finished by then. Okay, guys, I love this snake pattern. Of course, on the barrel it's faded away, but on the cap it remained quite wonderful. Interesting that on the top of it we have this conic shape, which was quite common back in the 1930s. In fact, I have right here a Caveco product of the 1930s that ends also in this conic shape. Due to the fact that we have here a brown element, I suspect that this ending was finished in hard rubber, and this is a celluloid. I also like the beautiful gold trims of this wonderful fountain pen, and of course the fact that we have three rings here. Again, a sign that we have a top-end product, because it has three rings, and not two or one ring on it. The cap unscrews and it reveals first a ink window. Yes, it is an ink window. Unfortunately, it's quite stained with old ink. It reveals this quite small grip section. Interesting that it doesn't end in that concave form, but due to the fact that it's close to those rings, it offers a decent grip to it. And look, guys, the beautiful gold nib. Another interesting aspect about the gold nib. We have again the Luna logo and Mars 14 karat. Interesting, we have made in Germany, written right at the base of it. So it means that this is an exported product. On the back of it, we have this beautiful ammonite feed. And the barrel ends in this blind cap, or I call it a fake cap, and it reveals this rod. If we turn the rod, the piston should advance, and when we turn it the other way, the piston retracts, creating a vacuum which draws the ink in this reservoir. Unfortunately, our piston is not working, so it rotates, but it seems to rotate in blank. Of course, there is a method of disassembling this fountain pen, but now, so this part, if you hold on this part and turn on the other part, it should disassemble, and we can have access to the actual piston. Maybe it needs, or certainly it needs, a new cork, because back then they used those wooden corks at the end of the piston. In time, in the 1950s, were replaced by plastic endings, which are more durable than their wood predecessors. Actually, the wood can even retain water, and it can damage in time the celluloid, because when you hold water, the volume expands, and the celluloid is quite fragile and prone to, let's say, modification in its lines. So, guys, because I don't have a proper filling mechanism, I will just do the writing sample by dipping this pen, but still I do that Let me compare it with this Cavacodia fountain pen. It has the same blind cap over here, and it has a similar ink window over here. Pretty much the same design from the 1930s Germany. Probably they were direct competitors, and this is the way they resemble. Of course, again, our fountain pen, our Mars Triumph fountain pen, is slightly bigger than the other fountain pen. And in my opinion, I think it was a higher end fountain pen than this Kafeka fountain pen over here. I believe the dimensions of our Mars Triumph on the screen, and after that I will do the writing sample. But before I start the writing sample, I want to change the angle of the camera for you to see better how it performs. So guys, I've changed the angle of the camera. I will put it right here. For the ink, I thought to myself, let's use an uncommon ink. We will use a Faber-Castell Peak erasable ink. It is quite a nice ink, and I hope it will do a good job. In Germany, in the 1930s, it has a beautiful 14 karat 585 gold nib, and it appears that we have a F for fine nib. Fine nib. I'm curious to see how flexible it is. No flex, unfortunately. No line variance. So no line variance. It seems to be quite a nice juicy nib. It doesn't show, but I think it likes the ink. You can see quite a nice signature piece. I'm curious to see now if I can reverse write with it. Reverse writing. Well, definitely you can reverse write with it, and I think it writes like an extra fine one in comparison with the F1, how it usually writes. Okay, guys, now let me tell you about the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. So quite a nice name, quite a nice performance. I want to thank you guys for your time. This was my review of the Staedtler Mars Triumph. I want to wish you to have a nice day. Wherever you are, please take care of yourselves in this pandemic time. I wish you again at the next episode. Till then, bye bye and God bless.